Changes are, however, taking place, and this is key. Changes are taking place gradually in societies, in our physiology, in language, the earth crust, and the atmosphere. They are all changing towards the next movement, which is the cis. A new color and physique will evolve, which will be more suitable for the highly developed people who will become the pioneers of humanity in the cis movement. We are moving from the fifth to the cis movement. Races will cease to exist by the end of the cis movement. We are in the fifth, going into the cis. By the time we end the cis, there will be no race. There will be no more races, but one universal unity of humanity under the leadership of Christ. It is a gradual and definite process. Let's see examples that are taking place in this fifth movement towards the cis. Advocacy for world peace, international marriages, mind-dominated people, technological advancement, liberty and freedom, rule of law, human rights, equality, transparency and accountability. These are all gradual changes that are taking place towards the next movement, the cis. Who then are the foot draggers? These are spirits in flesh, people who fail or are failing to adapt in the process of evolution and evolution. During evolution, some spirits that couldn't adapt were taken out. They couldn't move with us. At each stage, when we're descending, at each stage and during each movement of the spiritual impulse, there are requirements. And it's good we know these requirements so that we can go by them. Those who do not go by the requirements under each movement, they fall out. So failures began in the spiritual realm in the very beginning, when the activation of the spiritual aspects started. Failures began. Some spirits could not continue with their calling, so they were held back. When humanity completed evolution and began evolution, spirits that have the three spiritual aspects activated and the three material bodies built with the link of mind, we were able to move forward, unlike others. Those who did so became adaptive. That is how come we all received the mind. Later, after thousands of years, those who didn't receive the mind now qualified and received it. Those who had it later couldn't develop it as fast as those who had it earlier on. By the time they began exercising the concrete mind, the pioneers had moved on to functioning more in the abstract mind and controlling their lower desires. What then is the implication? It means that some spirits have remained in the spiritual realm that cannot take human body. Neither can they take animal body as well, because they belong to the human life wave but fail to meet the requirements. Some have not fully developed the faculties, hence can occupy only inferior bodies. For example, the anthropoids, and we talk about that in lecture number 11. Some are in the human body all right, but have low minds and cannot think and reason beyond the concrete mind. They are controlled more by their low desires. Some are able to think and reason in the abstract, but operate more with the low desires. Some also are able to think and reason in the abstract and operate more with the higher and lofty desires. The pioneers are able to think beyond the concrete mind. The pioneers of humanity are able to think beyond the concrete mind into the abstract mind, which, as we said in previous lectures, is linked to the human spirit. So when you are operating more in the abstract mind, you are developing your human spirit aspect. The use of the abstract mind brings about innovation, creativity, inventions, and the rest. It leads to commitment to principles, ideas, and strategic thought, devoid of negative personal feelings or emotions. It involves operating with the higher desires. It covered discernment of right from wrong, and living by the right and pursuing higher ideals, ethics, virtue, and morality. It demands self-reliance and selfless service to others. It calls for discipline and living by the truth, the good, and the beautiful. What are the characteristics of foot draggers? They are controlled by their desires more than the mind. Little thought or reflection on the right or wrong of actions. They don't think about those things before, during, or after. The foot draggers don't think about that at all. Simply, they have weak conscience. They are unable to function in the abstract mind. So their reasoning is around tangible things that are revealed by the five senses. They are weak in innovation, creativity, and originality. Foot draggers don't have that. They are very materialistic and selfish. They are dependent on and dominated by people from other parts of the globe. So sad. They are unable to utilize their God-given resources to subdue the earth and make lives better for themselves. They are proud of and relish ancestral systems, traditions, and cultures, including monarchy, kingship, chieftaincy, and so on. They have the fear of or respect for the person in authority, but not necessarily the tenets, reasoning, conduct, and relevance of authority to their lives. They put social harmony ahead of the individual. That is to say, individualism is discouraged. They prioritize and bond with extended family, clan, ethnic group, and race. We are talking about the characteristics of foot draggers. Their territory is full of detached ethnic groups and several local languages and dialects. One day we'll explain why we are saying these things. They are at a low level of scientific and technological advancement, coupled with low formal education. They are non-assertive, less adventurous, and docile. They do not have a questioning or inquiring mind. And what is their form of worship? It is based on the old tradition of spiritism and spiritualism, not spirituality. That is to say, it involves worshipping or reverence of ancestors, nature forces, or deities based on strict religious practices, laws, and sanctions. Generally, there is a low spread of civilization among them. Take note, we are not saying on this platform that those characteristics are bad and should be stopped. We are only describing the qualities of foot draggers without judging anybody. Let us remember that there is improvement. People are making progress in their material and spiritual development. But the question is, at what rate? And will the fifth movement of the spiritual impulse wait for anybody?
Filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it can build and build until you finally see. Whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all this.